For anyone who has not played Apex Legends in the last 24 hours, let me sum up what's going on, the kind of experience you're going to have when you get back in. And for those of you who have and who kind of have a general understanding of what I'm talking about, I'm going to go a little bit more in depth. So if you're curious as to what I'm talking about, since I'm purposefully being vague, it's essentially that the devs over at Respawn have decided that regular respawn beacons are not enough and that they're going to be mobile respawn beacons now. On top of that, we have some other stuff to talk about, like bug fixes here and there, some important Loba news, but the main priority of this video is going to be on these mobile respawn beacons, how I think they're going to change the game, how they're going to change ranked, how they're going to change competitive. And when I say competitive, I mean pro play. So we got a lot of stuff on the table to talk about today. We don't have any pro player reactions to this. And honestly, that's okay, because for the most part, when pro players talk about changes and other new aspects of the game, it's usually just to complain and ridicule them, unless it's something very specific that they wanted to see implemented in the game. For casual players, though, like if you really only play like solo trios or solo duos, or even if you have like a stack of players, I think this is a good change. Before we even get into any like main specifics, I think that the biggest thing that this is gonna remedy, at least in my experience so far, I played maybe like 10 games with randoms, and I've noticed that when someone on your squad has one of these mobile respawn beacons, the people who go down and die are far less likely to leave the game. Now, I don't know if this was a aspect of mobile respawn beacons that the developers actually planned. I don't know if this was something that they were like, oh yeah, if we put this into the game, then people won't leave in randoms anymore. But regardless, it seems like that's been the case. Let me know down below in the comments, though. I'm obviously just one person with one set of observations and experiences. So let's get the hive mind working together. Have you guys noticed fewer randos leaving, or is it just as bad as it was before? Because God knows it was really bad before. Now let's talk about how this is actually going to impact the game. Obviously, just right off the bat, it's going to make things a lot more convenient for you. Or so you'd think, because the respawn beacons that are already on the map are pretty well positioned in areas that are close enough to landmarks, like points of interest, that you can go there right after a big fight and res your boys. But they're also located in areas that typically don't see a lot of through traffic, or at least like when you're going to use them, you'd be able to like pretty much know that there wouldn't be too much through traffic at the time. The thing that I've been noticing with mobile respawn beacons is that you're really going to have to kind of figure out where you can and can't put these, because I have myself noticed that there are certain areas that you really do not want to put these mobile respawn beacons. One of them is, and you'll see it on screen at some point, but I take the portal out of Wraith Labs and I fly over to that area that's a little bit to the right of Cage, and I put down the respawn beacon there, and lo and behold, as soon as that thing went off, people were coming flying in from every direction. People were coming in from Capacitor, they were coming over from Cage, they were coming from Wraith Labs, because there was an area that was kind of in the thorough way. I don't really know if that's a real word, but it makes sense to me. But basically, it was at a point where we could get attacked from a lot of different directions. So that was kind of a little bit of a side tangent, but that's a pretty strong warning for you guys. Just really be aware. It's going to take some big brain, big noggin, huge IQ to figure out where and where you cannot put these things. If you don't want to get smacked with tons of third-party squads, fourth parties, fifth parties, 30 parties. Next, I want to talk about something kind of stupid. I don't usually talk about this kind of stuff on here. I don't usually talk about like exploits or really anything like that. But you can actually, if you have those stupid quests where you have to like respawn teammates a million times, if you just farm up a couple of those bad boys, those mobile respawn beacons, you can res the boys over and over again at salvage. I did this, I will admit to it, to get my badge for the Lost Treasure event. Now, while I usually don't encourage any kind of bugs or glitches or dupe tricks, this one doesn't really harm anybody. It just gets stupid quests out of the way. But now that we have those two things out of the way, that warning and that kind of helpful tip, at least I think it is, I want to talk about how this could potentially affect ranked play, because the main thing that I think these respawn beacons have done so far, as I previously mentioned, is that they were causing people to quit less. And that's not really an issue in ranked, obviously, because, you know, you can't quit or you get penalized for it. So what potentially could the benefits of this be? Well, I think that there aren't really that many benefits. In fact, I don't think these mobile respawn beacons are gonna like really change the game that much. And here's why. It's the same thing with Lifeline's care package. When you drop that bad boy down, every player on the map knows where you are. And so I think especially in ranked, you're really going to want to avoid doing this. I've talked about this previously, but I think this is why characters like Bloodhound and Loba are not picked a ton, because when you use your either tactical ability or your ultimate ability respectively for the two of them, it alerts everybody in the area of where you are. And that's a humongous disadvantage. Now, before you click off, I actually have an incredibly big brain thing that you can do with this in ranked, in casual, in whatever you're playing, and that is that you can put this thing down right up next to doors, which means if you don't have a Watson on your team or a Caustic, or if you just don't have traps up at the moment and you have these mobile respawn beacons, you can pop that bad boy down right in front of a doorway and actually render that doorway completely useless. You won't be able to open the door, people won't be able to climb over the top of it. I showed this off in the gameplay of one of my previous videos, but that's just my big brain tip for this. As I mentioned though, I don't think this will really have any impact on pro play or competitive play. I don't think people are really going to use it all that much once you get out of, you know, like your lower tiers like bronze, silver, gold, unless they absolutely have to. Because, like I mentioned at the beginning of this video, the respawn beacons that are down around the map are located in pretty much the perfect positions. That's why they're where they are. The devs purposefully put them in areas that would be easy to access. For the most part, easy to defend, other than that one stupid one on Kings Canyon where, like, the buildings are built into the side of the mountain and it, like, comes down and out. You know what I'm talking about. It's the worst respawn beacon in the game. Might actually be the worst area in the game, but that's a rant for another time. I really do just want to quickly get into the Loba fix. The devs have reworked her bracelet so that it works fine on World's Edge. So if you were having trouble with that previously, let me know down in the comments. Has it been fixed? I haven't talked to my Loba mains in quite a while. I gotta make sure you guys are doing okay still, if there are any of you left out there. But that's gonna be it for me for this video, guys. Also, really quick, well, one, I'm doing a giveaway over in the community page. You just have to be subscribed and answer the question that I have there. But two, is that Wraith glitch still going on? I haven't seen anybody doing it recently, but I just want to make sure that it's gone for good because the devs haven't made a statement about it. However, that's going to be it for me for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. Before you head out, if you could smack that like button, as it really helps this video in search results, as well as join the club by hitting that red subscribe button if you're not already. However, that is going to be it for me for today, though, guys. So until tomorrow, take it easy.